Hi guys, welcome back to Subto Shauna. This is the way. Today I have one of my favorite Subto people, Javier Nunez.
Hi guys.
So, hello, Javier. Okay, so sorry, hold on one second. I need a production assistant, I swear. Okay, so Javier is a Sub 2 member, a decorated soldier, college grad, contractor, business owner, and realtor in 3 states. And that's all I could fit on the banner because there's more, and he's not stopping there. So, just to go into a little bit of detail, Javier is a highly decorated U.S. Army Airborne Ranger and paratrooper and was deployed for 3 years and has been to 22 different countries. Thank you for your service,
Thank
sir.
you. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
He's also the first generation to attend college in his family, and he got his accelerated associate's degree in 1 year, graduating with honors. He majored in finance and entrepreneurship, where he had to create and pitch an idea to angel investors for his senior capstone class to graduate. Right. He's also worked with attorneys involving investigations for loss mitigation. He's a realtor in 3 states, Maryland, Virginia, and DC, where he heads up a team and also JVs with other investors on the side, focusing on pre-foreclosures, bankruptcies, divorces, probate listings. And I had the pleasure of door knocking with Javier pre-foreclosures when we were in Florida at Squad Up. Oh man, I learned a lot.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. And he's about to get into helping folks who are dealing with tax liens as well. So Javier is an accomplished man who does not do anything half-heartedly. He's a gangster in anything he tackles. He loves to help others as well who show they are committed to doing the work and learning.
Absolutely.
Yes. So awesome. Okay. So why don't you start by telling us about how you found Sub 2? Like, how did you discover PACE and the Sub 2 community, and what made you decide it was right for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you for the introduction, Shauna. That is my background. That's my story. I grew up, 3 families in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Coolmore, just maybe 15 minutes from DC. Parents were undocumented. Never really had any funds to go out. Just my parents were scared of immigration and stuff like that. So we never really went to like movie theaters, parks, or none of that stuff. It was just work and home. And since I was like 10 years old, I would go to the job sites with my dad. He was a contractor, a flooring contractor. And we would work because we had no money for babysitting. We had none of that stuff. So I would go help out my dad. So I was at the job site since I was 10. And I learned a lot. I learned, flooring. I learned about the different types of flooring. I learned about renovations. My dad was helping and doing a little bit of additions. And then, once I was a teenager, I started working for my dad again. And I realized that I needed college. And what's got me interested into college was that the military said, hey, we can give you some college. And I said, okay, why not? So I signed up
for it, right?
Yeah. So I signed up for the military. They promised me the citizenship as well. I got my U.S. citizenship, my first deployment to Iraq. And then I said, where's the college? After 8 years of serving in the U.S. military, I was stationed in Vicenza, Italy. I did that I was there for 5 years. I did 8 years in the entire service. And I have been overseas for 3 years of those 8. And I realized that I didn't do a lot of college in the military as I was promised. So I did about 3 credits or 3 different classes, all A's. And I said, what happened? I thought I was gonna go to like an actual college and university, but it was all like Saturday, Sunday type of ordeal. So I said, okay, I need schooling, right? And I always had that educational mindset, just because I grew up, not being the smartest. So I was just like, okay,
What?
let
I have a
me.
hard time believing that.
Yeah,
You melt my brain sometimes when I talk to you.
yeah, no. So that's what led me to learn, right? That's what led me to learn English. My parents didn't speak English. I was in the construction field, growing up, and I said, you know what? I like learning. So that's why I really wanted to do college. My parents didn't graduate college. My dad had a little bit of electrical background, but you couldn't use that in this country. So that's why he did flooring. My mother, I'm a little unsure whether or not she graduated high school, and my parents, thanks to my parents, they were pioneers, and they came to this country, and I had the opportunity to learn. So I struggled in school, like growing up. And I joined the military. And in the military, I said, wow, I got straight A's. Like, what's going on? I only did 3 classes. And then I used the GI Bill that I earned for the military, because I'm a veteran myself. And I used the GI Bill to pay for my college. So I said, I'm going to double down on college. So I did. I made a commitment to leave the military after 8 years, and I doubled down on my associates. The GI Bill only pays for 36 months. It only pays for 3 years. So I said, okay, well, in the first year, I did 18 credits every semester, and until I got my associates in 1 year. And then I transferred to VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. And I just kept that educational mindset of growing. And I always wanted to flip houses and, be in the construction business. So I incorporated that with my 2 years that I did it at college. So at VCU, I was trading stocks, learning macroeconomics, microeconomics, and I understood numbers. That's when I realized like I was very analytical. And that's when I realized like numbers were my thing. Because in construction, it's numbers, right? You give a price,
Yeah.
says, hey, you agree on a price, you shake hands, you do the work, you get paid. Depending on how you underwrote that construction deal will be the difference whether you get paid a lot or not enough. So every class that I took in at VCU set me up for what I am today. And my senior capstone class, in order for me to graduate VCU, they told me that I had to start a business, and we had to do a business plan. We had to do the financials. This was like a 150-page report that we had to turn in at the end of the semester in order for us to get our diploma for entrepreneurship. So I used some of the things that I learned in my finance degree. So it was a double major. And I used some of the things that I learned in my senior year. And it just so happened my senior capstone class, they said, you have to take a real estate elective that year. So I did. I took a real estate elective, and I asked the professor, like, this is what I want to do. Like, what do you recommend? And they said, well, if you want some extra credit, Javier, like you can go to a local meetup. And I was like, what's a local meetup?
Right. So I didn't know they had that. Do they teach you like realtor stuff? Like what kind of stuff does that class?
Yeah. So real estate at the university level, they teach you underwriting. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I can underwrite multifam and commercial, and yeah, that whole semester was all that. It wasn't buying and selling real estate. It was more like an underwriting course for real estate. So that's how I can underwrite now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm very good with Excel because I'm a finance major. So yeah, so I took that extra credit. I was like, all right, so why not? Like, and I went to a local meetup in Carytown. I'll never forget it. I was dressed up. I was like, okay, well, this is extra credit. They said it was an open bar, and I was like, I'm not going to mix business.
Right. You don't want a foggy brain.
Yeah. So I was like, at the end of the day, I represent VCU, and I went there, and I was so amazed. I will not lie. I was so amazed that they were talking real estate. They were talking construction. They were talking numbers. They were talking wealth. They fed me, and they were giving us free alcohol, which I did not take. I immediately fell in love. And that's when I said, I'm in the right spot.
Right.
And fast forward today, I've been going to local meetups since 2016. And now I actually host meetups myself for contractors that are trying to get into the business and how contractors can invest in real estate. And I did it in Spanish earlier this year. That was my promise to Pace's MSA for the onboarding.
Yes. Because that's how Pace started out. Pace started out in construction because he was doing it with his dad too.
That's
And
right.
then, yeah, he had some wake up calls like, you should be investing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was really looking for end buyers. So for our wraps, I was just like, what does this community need? So that's when I said contractors have a lot of money. My framers, my roofers, they have a lot of money. So those are our end wrap buyers, if you really think about it. I said, let me create an educational platform for them. And that's why I got together with some Subto members and created a contractor meetup in Spanish. That way I can brush up my Spanish skills. Italian skills, I lost it. But I did pick up elementary Italian back then. And that's what led me to this. After the local meetup, I said I was determined. I was already ready to graduate. And I worked with some investors in Bethesda, Maryland. I moved back up here to the DMV, and they were optimizing notes. So I do know a little bit about that. It was 15 to 30,000 notes that they would buy every 2-3 months. And we would optimize the notes, make them performing, and then they would sell them to Fannie Mae. And, they had a dispo team as well. So because I was a finance major and a military background, I had the opportunity to work in the loss mitigation department. And we were foreclosing on properties all across 50 states. And I was more older, so I was like 27, 28 when I went into the.
You mean you're not 26 now?
I started counting backwards. Yeah, so I left the military when I was 25. I joined when I was 17. I did the delayed entry program. I left the military when I was 25, and 3 years later, I was 28 when I got into the workforce. And this was the first time holding a job as a professional. And I was managing assets. I was managing 20 to 25,000 assets at any given time. So I wasn't part of the cool crew of the newbies that are coming in. So I didn't go to the bars and none of that stuff.
You were level up, man. You already knew so much and did so much while we were goofing off. Yep. And all we have are memories with crazy friends. Absolutely. You were getting down to business.
Yep. So what I did is just I was like, well, let me make friends with the older people because I learn off of people's wisdom, right? So I just connected with a bunch of attorneys. A lot of these attorneys had to be licensed in multiple states. They had to be licensed in like 3 to 10 states minimum to work for these investors. And they were everything: bankruptcy attorneys, foreclosure attorneys, tax attorneys, divorce attorneys. And I realized that all these different attorneys, you need all these different types of resources in order to
leads for you.
Exactly, in order to foreclose on a property. So I said, okay, well, I need to get in the properties. I know that we can get them at a discount, but how do I get the ARV? And that's when I studied for my real estate exam. And it took me 14 times. 14 times.
No way.
Yeah, you got to remember.
You have no idea what a high pedestal I have you on in my world.
I appreciate that. No,
you're like so up there. I'm like, Javier Nunez gonna be on my podcast.
Yeah, no, I just studied for a real estate exam. I was like, hey man, if another human can pass it, so can I. What's the difference?
Yeah.
I guess like the special ops military community taught me to never give up, never quit. So I did, after 14 times of passing that real estate exam, national and state level, I got my license in Virginia. And then I said, okay, well, now I got Virginia. What's my next goal? So that's why I'm licensed in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, in all three states.
Yeah, those kind of go together. They all go
Yeah,
together.
well, kind of. The compliance is completely different. So the compliance is
Right.
completely different from Virginia to Maryland and DC, completely different. And then also, don't forget, I'm also, like my whole life I grew up in construction. So I also doubled down on that. And I said, okay, well, let me get my contracting license. So I have my Class A designation in Virginia. So I could do new builds, I could do new townhouses, anything to do residential. I pull permits all over Virginia. I pull permits for subcontractors. I pull permits for investors, for my clients. On the real estate side, I've done a little over 19 million in sales since 2017, and all of that is pre-foreclosures, bankruptcies, divorces, short sales, and of course retail.
Your parents got to be so proud of you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're definitely proud of me. I think the thing with me is just like I always, right. So my goals now are different, right? But a couple years ago, my goals were my goals, and then I just keep doing it. I just keep doing new goals, check them off. New goals failed miserably here. Let me redo it until I get it right. Then I finish that goal, and then that's why I just keep leveling up. So now, fast forward.
Have you ever met Peace? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So fast forward now, I'm a licensed contractor in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I pull permits in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I do rehabs all the way to Baltimore, all the way south to Richmond, Virginia, and then all the way west to West Virginia. And I have my masters who help me pull the permits for the trades. One of my masters, he was pretty much like my battle buddy. He's a master electrician. He's now licensed in 10 states as a master electrician. And that's when I realized that when you squat up with people, you need to squat up with people that have the same vision that you do. And he's just a good example of, the sky's the limit. Being a master electrician in 10 states, that's a lot of it's a lot of decorations, right?
Totally is. Yes, yes.
But when you have that same vision, you can feed off of each other. And he's just one of my friends, and that's who I do. I spend my time, energy with people who talk real estate, growth, business, finance, entrepreneurship, construction, and that's my story. So that's how I got introduced to Pace.
Did you? I was going to say, did you actually had a chance to meet him in person? I know you were at Squad Up.
Yep.
Were you in the VIP?
Yes. So for these events, right? Most people, I don't drink or do drugs or none of that stuff. I'm actually 3 years completely sober. I think going on 4 years here shortly. Instead of spending my money in like bars and clubs and all this other stuff, I spend my money on myself. And for sub 2, what I did is just like, all right, Javier, I need a gift for myself for Christmas. And that's why I did the one-on-one session with subject 2. And I did a little bit of research on Pace, but I did do 2 different sub 2 transactions with one of my clients, and I helped them make money. And I said, since I'm already doing it, I might as well join the community.
Right.
And I absolutely love this community. I'm part of many masterminds myself. I'm part of Fortune Builders. So many different masterminds that I signed up, but this sub 2 by far is the best because they have the same vision that I do, which is giving back to the people and helping people in different positions in their life.
Yes, yes.
Did I answer your question?
Absolutely. And then a few other ones I didn't have a chance to ask. But that's how it is. I remember the first time I met you. Well, I think it was Stacy and Jael. I was like, I have a question about this and that. And they're like, call Javier. He knows all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I called you, and it was the end of the night, and you melted my brain. You were so full of information. I was like, and I was kind of new to the community at the time, and and I was just like, I had these little swirlies in my eyes. It was like,
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing is like, I've done this so long. I've read thousands of contracts. I've drafted up thousands of contracts myself. So it's just like I know a lot, and for me, the only thing that I need honestly is the address. I can figure everything else out like within. I can fully underwrite a deal within like 10 minutes. I'm underwriting deals like at a red light. Like,
that's insane.
yeah.
Me, I gotta be like, all right, everybody be quiet. I gotta do this. I gotta step one, step two.
Yeah, so remember
Meanwhile, Javier's like, done.
in 2016, I didn't know any of this. Remember,
Really?
I was in college. And
Right.
even before the military, I didn't get to travel. Like I never went to Chicago or LA or none of that stuff. Like it was literally work and at home. Don't get deported, go to school. That's it. That was my life before the military. And the military opened me up. And once I got my citizenship, my US citizenship, that's when I said, you know what? I need to pay it forward to my family. And I said, okay, what is my family? It's the people who have the same vision that I do. So I didn't know any of this stuff. And then I have severe ADHD, right?
Me too.
Diagnosed with
And
ADHD.
I am not medicated. I haven't been medicated for a while. And it's like
So check this out. I had no idea why I struggled so much in like growing up.
there was a lot of us. I think there's like certain, it's a theory I have. I don't know for sure, but I think there's like, from processed foods and this and that, I feel like there's like a lot in my generation, your generation, that have just, it has side effects of these chemicals and stuff to preserve the food, to ship it all over the country and blah, 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 blah. And it's,
I agree with you. And that's why I haven't drank soda in 7 years.
I quit soda a long time ago too.
Yep. I haven't drank soda in 7 years. So I just disciplined myself. Right.
Yeah.
The stuff that I don't need in my life, why entertain it?
I feel like that's the only thing that works, because if somebody else is disciplining you, it just makes you crave the thing that much more. If you discipline yourself, you're the one saying no.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you just have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's just the secret. The secret, there's one secret. If there's one takeaway you can take about this video, right, or this podcast, my only secret, Javi's only secret, is 1% better in everything you do every day.
Right.
That's the only secret.
Javi from the block.
Javi from the block.
Javi from the. He's just Javi from the block.
Yeah, I mean, 8 years ago, I didn't know any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know amortization schedule. I didn't know what, highly leveraged properties meant. I had no idea. I didn't know how to draft a deed of trust, and I just volunteered.
And now you do.
And now I draft up like 100 deeds of trusts. I would draft them up for PMLs. Yeah, I'm not.
When did you join Subto? How long have you been in our community?
So I joined over the holidays, and I was 100% ready to move forward. And as soon as I joined over the holidays in 2023, my family had a serious car accident, and that's where we lost 2 family members. My uncle, rest in peace, and also my niece. She was 2 years old, and she passed away as well. So I was mourning for like a good 30 to 40 days. I reached out to my MSA, like, hey, I've connected with 50 people and I've done all my homework. However, I'm still mourning from this loss. But yeah, I mean, fast forward now, there's, I've helped many people like in the Subto community, and I do the local meetups that I was telling you about, and I'm always networking with anybody that's in the Subto and Gator and community. And I had the opportunity to go to Squad Up. I ratified my first contract within 60 days, and I sent Pace and his team the video that I did. I slapped my logo on it, and made it look pretty. And after that, I ratified another deal. It was a Subto deal in Lynchburg, Virginia. So this one's interesting. We actually close on this tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, Friday, August 30th. We close on this tomorrow. So this is the first investment property that I'm buying with a JV partner who's a Gator and Sub2. And this one has all the tricks. So this one, we stopped the auction within 2 hours. Yep.
Whoa, that's got to be a record.
Probably not. But we stopped the auction for this transaction. We stopped the auction within 2 hours. The property was inherited to her, so she had some type of interest in it. So it was an inheritance property, and also she was in active bankruptcy. So not only was it pre-foreclosure, probate, and a bankruptcy case, and we are finally, since April, we went under contract April, right before Squad Up Summit, and we're finally closing tomorrow. And this is a property that we're going to rehab, me and my guys. I'm just going to send all my guys. They already know exactly what to do. So I'm going to send them on a mini deployment to Lynchburg, and they're going to rehab it. We should be in and out of there 3-4 weeks. And my favorite exit strategy is to do a cash out refinance into a 40-year DSCR loan. For the people that don't understand that, a DSCR loan is a debt service coverage ratio loan, and it allows you to pull a loan on real estate based on your rental ratio. So the debt would be the loan, and you have to service it based on a certain ratio. That's what DSCR stands for. So we'll be cash flowing a lot of money once we put the tenants in it. Matter of fact, we already have a tenant that's ready to move in, and we haven't even started the rehab.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long will the rehab take? Is it like a light rehab?
3 to 4 weeks tops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, my guys, they're hard workers. So
how many buy and holds do you have currently? Or if you want to.
With this JV partner, it's my first one.
Okay.
However, we're already talking about other ones.
And you have a nice portfolio or whatever?
I have multiple LLCs. So I have my real estate LLC. I have my construction LLC. I have my investing LLC. And then, of course, I use Prime Corporate Services to establish a creative holdings LLC along with this one. So
right.
I do a lot.
You do. I have always been so impressed with you. And I'm 1,000% sure I'm not the only one.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
Just do half of what you do.
Yeah, if I could put everything in my brain, everything that I learned into like a book or even like a podcast or even like a YouTube channel or something like that, I think I will be able to multiply people's growth. So however I can help you, I'm very respondent. I do this 24/7. Matter of fact, I love doing this. And I like it. It doesn't stop. The phone never stops ringing. And I'm okay with that because at one point, 6 years ago, I was praying that I get more phone calls. I was praying that I get more emails. I was praying that I got more deals, and then now you just have to be fully prepared. And then
you're revered and respected and set, and there's no ceiling for you.
No ceiling
at all. No ceiling.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this is a little announcement that I am studying right now. And I wanted to share this. I haven't really shared this with a lot of people. So you're like the first that know about it. My inner circle knows, my family, because they know my goals. But I am currently taking the exams and studying for my commercial license. So I can not only do commercial renovations, but also do commercial build outs. So that's one of my goals that, I'm happy to share with you that Pretty soon I'll be licensed to start building commercial. And because I'm a veteran, I can tap into like the veteran contracts and all that other stuff. So I'll be doing residential and commercial. So my plan is to build skyscrapers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to have a Javi Tower, a
Oh,
Nunez Tower.
oh yeah, it will happen. Give me a couple more years and we'll be there.
Oh my gosh.
But
All
yeah,
right, can I rent the penthouse? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I can have a time block session for you. Yeah, I want to build mini cities, like multiple cities, and more importantly, education has always been my thing, and pace is really good on that, and that's why I love the community so much. And I want to build schools where teachers have somewhere to live, and in communities where people can afford it, and build some hospitals and some professionals to help with the resources. I never had the opportunity to get these resources growing up, and I want that for the next person anywhere in the world.
For the next the generations that are just coming in now, right?
Correct.
See, as if I thought you couldn't go any higher on the pedestal I had you on in my world. You just
That's in the next couple of years.
Yes, I know.
I have a vision. The thing is, like, one of the first books that I read when I joined Sub 2, was the Visionary and the Integrator book.
Rocket Fuel. I read that.
Yep. So I bought that book. I read that entire book in like, I don't know, 3 days or so. And I'm a very highly skilled integrator and visionary. My entire life, I thought I was a visionary, but I'm like a 96 visionary, or I'm a 96 integrator and a 92 visionary.
Wow.
I'm a very high. Yeah, exactly.
I believe it. It makes a lot of sense. I believe it. I got 93 visionary the first time I took it. 93 visionary and like 58 integrator, with being a realtor and everything.
Yep.
But yeah. So wow. That is anybody who knows those scores and the questions and stuff, that's just like, you're blowing my mind right now. Like, I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised too. I was like, oh, I guess I'm analytical. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, I mean, I do have a finance degree,
Right.
Like, okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So what is your avatar and your strengths in real estate?
That's a good
Like, you have all these things, but what's like the one that you're best at?
So I did take a look at the different avatars. And in the beginning, this was like January timeframe. I was just like, oh, well, I'm a closer, right? Right after so many sales and stuff like that. I'm a closer. I'm a TC. What else? Direct to seller, because I talk to the sellers and I help them negotiate. I'll do like pro bono loan modifications to help them understand the business.
Direct to agent.
I talk to agents. I have like 100 agents who send me stuff all the time. Like, I just have a good rapport with agents, and they're just like, Javi, we know you're the person. So they send me stuff all the time, and I tell them, like, do this, do that. Let's do innovation, do that. Right.
Wow.
But because of Sub 2, I'm now starting to JV with them so I can make money instead of just telling them what to do. So, right. Yep, exactly. And yeah, so to answer your question, I think the one that I didn't really understand was the deal engineer. And I was like, I don't really see too much of this. I don't know what this entails. And then I said, why don't I just make my own engineer? Right. I kind of wanted to be an engineer, but the engineer platform at VCU was a 6-year program, and I didn't have any money to pay to be an engineer. So I said, since I paid for the Sub 2 membership, why don't I just make my engineer? So the transaction engineer is the one that stands out the most to me. And that's just because I can dissect the deal. I can take a look at it. I can take a look at the mortgage statement. I can optimize the rent. I can do this. I can do that. I can so creative.
Kind of like the underwriter, right?
Yes. So kind of, right? underwriting is
encompasses
different, right?
everything.
In my eyes, in Javier's eyes, underwriting just means getting multiple data sets into what is the real picture, right? Underwriting would be like confirming that there's a half bath, confirming that there's above square footage 790, confirming that there's a crawl space. Underwriting to me would be like confirming that the deal makes sense, and it is what it is. Confirming the mortgage statement, confirming the arrears, confirming that they're not in bankruptcy. The deal engineering portion of it, in my eyes, would be restructuring the deal to make it work. So, yep.
Taking all the moving pieces and moving them around the board to have the best optimized outcome.
Correct. To fully optimize your cash on cash return. So what that means, whatever time, energy, and money you spend, you get the highest return back. And that's, to me, a deal engineering, right? So if I can get an asset in pre-foreclosure and stop the auction and take over that property, instead of doing lipstick on a pig or putting $80,000-$90,000 into the property, if it's a property where it's in a school district that's very attractable, why not do a pop top? Right? Why not add a second floor?
Right.
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 So, yeah, I just let the PML alone. Like, hey, man, I'm going to need this for a couple more months. I'm going to add a second floor, or I'm going to add 2 feet on the main level and then add a second floor, 2 feet up front, 2 feet in the back, add some gables, some roof trusses. Now I just doubled the square footage. So what happens when you double the square footage? Your ARV changes as well. So that, to me, is more deal engineering. Deal engineering would also be like if a property has a lot of debt, right? What can I do? Can I optimize the rent? Can I add bedrooms in the basement? Can I spend 70, 80K in the basement and make those bedrooms and optimize the rent? That way we can, whenever we refinance, that way we can still cash flow.
Right.
So that's kind of like deal engineering for me. And yeah, happy to talk about deal engineering. I could literally talk like hours about any topic. So
yeah, I mean, wow. So you said that you JV with people. You have a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have your team running like 5 days a week in the background, or
7.
Yeah.
So I have a team of everything, pretty much, concrete guys to framers. And these are guys that I empowered to start their business. I showed them, hey, get a CRM, document everything. Let's take a look at your contracts. Let's fix your logo. Everything that I learned in college, I empowered that to all my clients, and they're all
team members.
Yeah. They're my team members. Yeah. So my master electrician, like, I can call him and he will call me right away. Right. Wow. I can call my framers and they'll call me right away because they know I've already built that rapport with them. So they're ready to go. So there's an investment property that I wanted to buy in Texas that a wholesaler brought to one of my team members. And I said, okay, let's buy it. So I was going to send my guys out there to actually buy that property, or send my guys to like rehab that property and do a cash out refinance. However, we figured out right before closing that the wholesaler signed an agreement with the somebody that was on the will, not the actual seller. Well, in Texas, I'm not sure if you guys know, but in Texas, the wills don't go far. Let's start there.
Right. Well, I mean, isn't that anywhere? I thought that it was like, because I've heard anywhere a will doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be honored. It could still go to probate, correct?
So a will is kind of like a request.
Right.
And they have, so in Texas, it has to go through the entire probate process. So I said, I'm not going to, Texas is one of the longest ones. So I'm not going to wait 6-7 months to buy this asset, rehab it, and then try to put tenants in December. That doesn't make sense, right? The deal engineering portion of that is, okay, this is a deal. This makes sense. But am I really going to fully optimize? Like, I'd rather spend time in somewhere else, right?
Mhm.
I can put tenants in during the holidays, don't get me wrong, but I'm not really fully optimizing the income because
Right.
not a lot of people, like right now, people went back to school, so not a lot of people are buying, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you have to know all these small little nuances in a real estate transaction in order to fully optimize your return. But
So
yeah,
here's a takeaway from that, boys and girls, ladies and gents. The takeaway is, if you want to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of after you're no longer with us on this earthly realm, wills are just requests. What you really need to do is put a trust together. And Javier knows all about that as well, don't you?
yes, I just finished. I had 4 closings last week. I was able to grab a couple Subto members as well, and we did one of our biggest assignment, $160,000 assignment. We did in 6 days. 6 days. I put a lockbox on it and we got the property Subto, and I told the owner, I'm like, hey, we're going to pay off your entire mortgage, because 6 hours later, after I marketed it to my downline, which is everybody in my CRM, I already had cash buyers ready to go. And I specifically, because I wanted to rehab that property and keep it as a cash flow, as a buy and hold. And then I said, okay, let me help other Subto, Gator, and others in the community. Let me help them understand the business. So that's why I wholesaled it. And it just so happened to be a $160,000 assignment. But that's one of my closes that I had. And I had a probate listing that I closed on last week as well. So I'm familiar with all aspects of the business. So
Because of my ADHD, I'm writing down things to talk to you after the show, because we need to talk about,
yeah,
a few things.
happy to help however I can help. And I have the tools and resources to do this in all 50 states. So if you have a property in Alaska or Hawaii, I can help you underwrite it. I'm also a closer, so I can talk to the seller and help you close it. After reading so many contracts in my career, I can draft up the contract for you and send it via DocuSign, and the sky's the limit.
I wonder how Maui is doing since the fire. Have you heard anything or helped anybody over there? Or?
Yeah, I haven't heard too much about like what's going on out there. I have my two cents on like how stuff happens.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And we have community members there.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
last time I connected with a community member in Hawaii, I asked him about that. I'm like, how's it going? He's like, yeah, we're in a long recovery process. We're like, it's slow, but it's moving along.
Yeah. The hardest thing is follow up in everything you do. And yeah, I mean, to me, I have severe ADHD too. Don't get me wrong. So like I am medicated, but what helps me is that I started documenting everything. So everything goes into my CRM. Birthdays, like I have a reminder, like,
Right.
hey, you need to shower your dog once a month. I have
Right.
reminders for everything.
My phone is constantly going off, and people are like, why doesn't your phone stop ringing? I'm like, they're reminders. They're just.
Yep. So that's the thing, is just but now I'm to the point where like I can literally have like 100 phone calls today, right? And then tomorrow when I get to my computer, I can jot down everything we talked about. That's just because I've done it so many times.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's a habit for you, for sure. Do you have any interests or passions outside of Subto? I know you're like such a hard worker and everything, but do you like to, I don't know, go boating or roller skating or play basketball or anything like that?
yes, absolutely. I love skydiving.
Right, you're a paratrooper. That's the one thing
Yeah.
I will never emulate. So did I use the right word? Emulate, like
Yep.
copy? Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not jumping from a plane unless it's on fire. I do, however, I do, however, love to get a window seat when I'm flying somewhere, but there's no way I'm jumping out of a plane. I don't get that, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, so it's just you just got to understand it, right?
Mm.
And then everything you do in life is about risk, right? But by understanding it, you're able to move forward with the decision. So when you skydive, it's not like you have one parachute, right? You have your main chute, you have your reserve, and you have the AFF. So say you get knocked unconscious, right? And you're falling down, the AFF will kick on if the batteries are there, right? Will kick on and it'll automatically deploy your chute. So technically, when you skydive, you skydive with 3 chutes, right?
Oh.
So there's little to no risk. And I know that. That's why I jump out of planes.
See, I'm not even sure. I feel like I might be safe, but I don't really feel like that's the reason it would scare me.
Yeah. I mean, my heartbeat stays the same.
Like
Just,
I get on a 3-foot ladder and my knees get wobbly. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is.
yeah, we're all built different.
Yeah, for sure. So, for anybody who wants to get a hold of Javier, this is, oh, wrong one. Sorry. There we go. All the ways to get a hold of Javier. There's your phone number, right? And let's see. We have your website right there, JRE Home Investments, your email. And also, if you have any properties that you'd like Javier and his team to take a look at, his buy box is anything up to 70% AR of ARV. ARV being after repair value, right?
Correct. And what I'm looking for too is I'm looking to JV with a lot more people. If you're a newbie and you haven't done a deal, please reach out to me. I would love to help you and show you that this is possible. That's everything I do. Like whatever you need help on, I can help you. I just need
Yeah,
more people.
even if you have done deals, I want to JV with you.
Yeah, let's JV together. Yeah. Oh, well, we filled out a JV agreement, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I did. I walked around Squat Up Summit, and I don't really like to sit because of my knees and stuff from the military, but I was standing the entire time at Squat Up
Oh,
Summit in the back, and I was like talking to people like, "You're a new person? Okay, let's JV." And got a bunch
right.
of JV agreements. Yeah,
So you're doing this all over the country, right? How many JV partners do you have all over the country?
I I don't
Or
know,
what states?
but
Okay, let me put it this way.
I
What
think
states are you JVing with people in?
I have 12 states right now.
Okay.
But I wore a shirt on my back that says I need 15 PMLs because I wanted to connect with 15 wholesalers in 15
Yeah.
different states that I haven't wholesaled with. But I wholesale in all 50 states. And now I'm at the point where I can deploy my guys, right? Like
Do
if
they
I
have something in
yeah,
South Carolina right now where you can't wholesale or something? I mean, I know you can always do double closes, but
right. So I mean to work away
you're
around
licensed.
is well, it doesn't matter if you're licensed, right? But the work
Yeah.
away around that is to actually buy it. Like you're the end buyer. There's no middleman.
Oh,
So that's
gotcha.
what I do. And then that's why, I'm also a cash buyer. So I'll JV with somebody in the Bay Area, California. And if the deal makes sense, then I'll ship my guys to California to rehab it, and then we'll both keep it.
Nice, nice, nice. So I will have these in the show notes. And if they do want to get a hold of you and JV with you, all they have to do is pick up the phone or send you an email, correct? Or go to the website.
Yep. I have
Okay.
all forms of communication.
Yes. And if you are in the Subto community as well, I highly recommend it. If Javier is ever in your neck of the woods, going door knocking with him or whatever. Oh my gosh, he blew my mind. I was like, whoa. I just wanted to hit record.
Yeah. No, I was in Florida. I was talking to that owner for 2 hours. He was an attorney, and I was talking to
Wow.
him for 2 hours, and that's why like I made it late to one of the sessions because I was just like act,
Right. Doing business, doing deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I was
Absolutely.
so honored to have you on. You're like one of
Yeah.
my fave Subto people, and you've taught me so much already. And am looking forward to learning a whole lot more here in the near future from
Yeah,
you.
thank you. I really appreciate you. In the military, TS Polyscope SCI clearance. So I didn't have a Facebook, I didn't have a MySpace, I didn't have none of that stuff.
Right.
And fast forward now, like I'm now becoming a little bit more visible. JJ Asian is the one that helped me on that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I
He's
met
awesome.
him through other masterminds. And
Oh, he's in other masterminds. Okay.
yep. So, and to be honest with you, Shauna, like this is my very, very first podcast ever.
Really? Yay. Oh my gosh. Now I really feel honored. I mean, I felt honored before, but now I'm just like, wow, this
Yeah,
is amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all your knowledge and all ways to do business with you.
absolutely. Thank you. And more importantly, I want to thank all the viewers that spent the time to actually like listen and hear everything that's going on. My heart goes out to you guys. And yeah, just trust the process. And
Yes.
is it my heart to you guys?
Yes. This and then this. Love sub too. All right. Okay. Well, hang back after the show and we'll have a little chat. And thank you so much for coming on.
Sounds good.
And
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
you're welcome. See you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.